everyone, Adrienne here. So yeah, I know it's been a hot minute. I'm really sorry. So there are a lot of exciting things happening behind the scenes. One of which is that Kenny and I are going to be moving closer to Seattle within the next couple of months. Very exciting. So I have a second interview lined up with a potential employer. It is still within the scope of phlebotomy. It's just in a different practice. I don't want to say too much quite yet, but if I don't post for a while, that's why. We are in the process of moving. Thank you so much to everyone so far who has given us their well wishes. I really appreciate it. Moving is stressful. I think everyone can agree on that. So, even though we're going to be moving about an hour and a half closer to Seattle, it's still a bit of a move and it is still going to be stressful. So yes, I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your understanding. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into today's video. We are going to be reviewing the contents of this lovely little sample that I received from Quebec. Very exciting. So you'll notice on the label it says Joual Vert high in Wormwood, 68% alcohol. So this is part of the distillery that brought you such lovely products as Joual Vert, as well as Fleur Bleue. But this is a new version of the Joual Vert that has a higher wormwood content. So I'm really excited to try this. I heard about this from my friend Rory, who is based in Canada, and he is responsible for a lot of the samples that I have reviewed here on my channel. So lovely of you, Roy. Really appreciate it. You're so sweet. And he told me about this and he said, wow, this is shockingly sweet. This is really good. I think you're really going to like this. Talk to Jean-Philippe, the distiller, and maybe he will hook you up with a sample size. So that's exactly what I did. I contacted Jean-Philippe and I asked him, hey, Rory told me about this. I'm really excited to try it. Any chance that you can send me a sample? And he was very happy to send me a sample. He's very sweet. I really appreciate him. He's been very supportive. And he had very kind things to say about my previous reviews of the Fleur Bleue and the Joual Vert. So yay, very exciting. I love the camaraderie that I have with a lot of absinthe experts and absinthe enthusiasts and distillers all around the world. It is so cool. And as far as availability for this one, I am sorry to say for my American and Canadian viewers that this is not going to be available in Canada nor in the United States, but it is going to be available in France, and very soon it will be available in Germany as well. So at the moment, this is only available in France. So to all of my French viewers out there, if you are curious about this one after watching my review and you really want to try it, then we'll see how it goes. All right, I'm going to reposition the camera and we're going to check out this new version of Joual Vert that is high in wormwood. Super excited. All right, everyone. So now that we have the camera repositioned and my fountain absolutely chocked full of ice and just a little bit of water so that we have a very high concentration of very cold water here, we can begin this part of the review. So here's our little sample size of the new Joual Vert. Again, I'm really excited about this one. Joual Vert is definitely like one of my favorite ones outside of the Jades. Ooh, whoa, okay. The initial aroma of it is very sagey and wormwoody, and I'm kind of here for it. We'll check this out. So, wow. Okay. Whew. All right. So already I am very impressed by the very sexy, beautiful peridot green color. I mean, if this was a touch more golden, I would mistake this for Jade Terminus Oxygenée. It is absolutely crystal clear. It is so beautiful. I cannot believe how vibrant and gorgeous that color is. Here, I'll hold my hand against the back of it so you guys can see. Seriously, look at that. That's so pretty. So for appearance, I'm going to go ahead and give it 5 stars. That is gorgeous. That is such a beautiful, intense green color, and that's definitely something that impressed me with the previous incarnation of Joual Vert that I tried in the past. I was very impressed with the flavor profile, I was very impressed with the appearance, and I really liked that really tantalizing basil-y aftertaste, but the appearance, absolutely lovely, 5 stars, love it. All right, so let's go ahead and begin the process of the louche and see how this one looks. Okay, so I'm definitely seeing some oily tendrils. That's promising. And here comes the cloud, or the louche. Oh my god, that is quick! Ooh, I was trying to slow it down. Whoopsie. Wow, that is such a quick louche. That's really impressive, and the fact that this is high in wormwood, but it's still louching very beautifully like this, shows that it has a lot of really good botanical content, which is great. Because if you have a weak louche when you are preparing absinthe like this, then you're in trouble. That means that there aren't very many botanicals in it. So usually that indicates a bad product. But this, wow. That is such a thick, gorgeous, opalescent, like impenetrable louche. Let's speed this along just a little bit. So far, this absinthe is very impressive. Like, wow. I'm getting some of the aroma so far, and that is obviously a good thing. And it is sweetening up just a bit. I can definitely tell from the aroma I'm getting some more of that botanical sweetness coming through. Oh man, that is something else. Alright, I'm going to call it good there. I can always add more water during the review of the flavor as well as the mouthfeel, just in case it needs a little bit more water. But the fact that it is so thick and bold and opalescent here with the louche tells me that there is such rich botanical content in here that it's a very well-made product. Definitely, just like the original Joual Vert, it is a very well-made product. So for the louche, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. It's really, really pretty. It's not quite as complex as some other louches that I have seen, but it is still very pretty and very, very thick. You know, it's dummy thick. Alright, so once again, I'm going to reposition the camera, and then we are going to evaluate the aroma, flavor, and mouthfeel, and then give our final thoughts. I'm really excited about this absinthe, guys, seriously. Alright everyone, we have our glass of the high-end wormwood Joual Vert. I am really excited to check this out. Now, already from the aroma that's kind of just wafting, you know, across to me here, it's definitely a little bit more bitter than the original, which, you know, that's fine. There's a time and a place for a bitter absinthe. And, you know, I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and check out the aroma before I get too carried away. That is like a stroll in the woods in the Pacific Northwest. Like, I feel like I'm walking through the woods around Deception Pass. Like, that's how fresh and botanical this is. I'm definitely getting a little bit of lingering sweetness from it. I'm definitely not getting much anise. So if you're one of my viewers who is kind of opposed to the flavor of anise and you kind of have a little bit of a bitter palate, so you have a preference for things that are a little bit more on the bitter side, I'm thinking that this one probably is going to be a good one for you, but this is just based on the aroma. I could be totally mistaken based on how the flavor might turn out. I'm definitely getting that sharp, well, I wouldn't necessarily say sharp, but that slightly pungent, sagey, wormwood kind of note in there. So you can definitely tell that this baby is not holding back on the wormwood, which is lovely. And the funny thing is with wormwood is that when wormwood is distilled, it should not be bitter. After wormwood is distilled, it is not bitter. When it's in its original form, the smell that is radiating from wormwood kind of has like a minty, dry with a little bit of sweet kind of aroma. But, you know, when you taste it by itself in its raw form, it is incredibly bitter. But after it's distilled, all the sweetness comes through and all the bitterness is usually left behind. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out with this absinthe. So for aroma, I'm going to give it 4 stars. It's really interesting and botanical. It definitely kind of puts the other aspects of the Holy Trinity on the back burner, but that's kind of the whole point of this new formulation here. It is supposed to be forward on the wormwood. So I'm going to give that one 4 stars for the aroma. Sorry, I'm writing down my notes so I don't forget what I say. All right, guys, here we go. As always, santé, and please drink responsibly. Ooh, she does not hold back. So it starts out bitter. It starts out just a little bit bitter and very botanical, but then as you kind of swish it around in your mouth and after you swallow, it really sweetens up and definitely lures you in for another taste. My mouth is watering already, my God. Wow. I did not put sugar in this. Obviously, because, you know, for the past few years with my absinthe reviews, I have not been using sugar so that I can get a better idea of the natural sweetness of the absinthe that I am reviewing. I know I did catch a little bit of flack for that, but that's okay. It happens. Wow. That is a very sweet surprise. A little bit more of the anise and the fennel is coming through, but the wormwood is definitely the dominant note here. But with the wormwood being dominant, it's definitely not overly bitter like you may have experienced with some lesser quality absinthes out there. She packs a punch. She does not hold back, and it's really nice. I'm definitely getting a little more of that little pungent, sagey kind of flavor. I don't want to use pungent because pungent usually implies that it's unpleasant, but it's pungent in the way of meaning intense. It's definitely intense. It's definitely reminding me of sage and savory. That sweet aftertaste, though, is really, really nice. I have a feeling Kenny's not going to like this one because it's not very sweet, but, you know, on the other hand, it really doesn't have as much of an anise flavor, so he might like it on that basis. Hey, honey, would you mind giving your opinion on Joual Vert with high wormwood? Thank you. It's definitely very tingly, I will say that. Okay, so this is the version of Joual Vert with high wormwood content.
Definitely a lot more, the fancy word is botanical. I would just say, like... Planty. Yeah. I know this fancy word is botanical, but I take a sip of that and I go, oh yes, botanicals, like the botanist. No, I go, tastes like I'm drinking a plant.
You want to know what you're tasting?
Apparently it's wormwood.
Wormwood.
Yeah.
You are tasting the wormwood punching you in the face.
Yeah, no, I don't personally care for that.
That's fine. Honestly, I was thinking with you, it could go either way.
Yeah.
You could either like it because it's not forward on the anise, or you could not like it because it's kind of bitter.
Yeah.
But it's not, like, undrinkable.
It's not undrinkable. I could drink it. It's not like some of the ones that I've tried where I'm like, no, I just don't want this. Please, no. Don't do this to me.
Why would you do this to me?
Why would you do this to me? So, even that. I just had a small burp, and I can taste that planty taste.
To me, it kind of smells like walking through the woods in Deception Pass.
Let me smell that again?
Yeah.
No, I don't get that, because it's not, this is going to sound weird, damp enough.
Not damp enough? Okay,
it's not
that's
damp
fair.
Enough.
It's similar, though. It's kind of like the pine
like
trees.
A deep, wet, natural smell when you're at Deception Pass, especially if you're down going through the trees to the beach. It doesn't have that. It's not really damp, nor does it have that slight salty tang. If you're like down in the trees, or if you're up at the bridge, you get that saltwater air. But yeah, I don't personally get the same thing as you on that. But yeah,
it's just very planty for you.
Very planty. Very planty. Well, I gotta go plant my butt back on the couch, so...
yeah, then Precious will plant herself on you.
Yep. Love you.
Love you too. Okay, so I probably would not recommend this for beginners with absinthe, which I was kind of predicting. So Kenny finds it drinkable, but it's not his favorite that he's ever had. It's definitely very botanical, which I can see why that would be maybe a little bit off-putting. This is definitely something for the more experienced absinthe drinker. It is something that is more on the bitter side. It definitely has more of that wormwood flavor. Again, with that being said, with it being forward on the wormwood, it shouldn't be overly bitter. And this is definitely not overly bitter. I would say it's like a botanically bitter, if that makes sense. I would say that the Joual Vert is definitely, like the original Joual Vert is a little bit more approachable than this one. This one's definitely more for the expert that wants a, you know, higher wormwood experience. And obviously, disclaimer, just because it has more wormwood in it doesn't mean you're more likely to get higher trip balls. Shut the fuck up before you start typing. Thank you. So as far as flavor is concerned, I'm going to give it 4 stars. This is really, really good. And it doesn't necessarily have the same kind of flavor profile as something that is a traditional absinthe because of how heavy it is on the wormwood. I'm definitely getting like a minty tingly feeling on my tongue now, like after I have swallowed here, but not necessarily in a bad way. And it has a really interesting flavor. It is surprisingly sweet for something that is forward on the wormwood, but that ultimately is a good thing. That means that the wormwood was distilled properly. Yay! Very happy about that. So yes, it's not quite as complex and as multifaceted as some of the other absinthes that I have had in the past, but it's still really, really interesting and it's still very good. And it's obviously very well made. And the wormwood is not bitter. So, you know, bravo, Jean-Philippe. Bravo. You did a really good job with this one. Actually, I'm going to try adding just a little bit more water and see if maybe that helps a little. Just a little bit more. Okay, it definitely sweetened up a little bit more with some more water, so that's good. Okay, it is slightly more approachable with a little bit more water. So that's one recommendation I would make. So probably a 3-to-1 ratio at the very least for adding water. That is really good. Seriously, like I cannot get over the sneaky sweetness that comes in there at the end. That's really, really lovely. So yes, while not for the beginner for absinthe, this is definitely for someone who likes absinthe and wants to try something with a bit more of a bitter profile. And ooh, there's kind of a little bit of like a floral thing coming through with more water. Yeah, I would say with a little bit more water, it is more approachable. But I still like the original just a little bit better. And as for the mouthfeel, let's take another taste of it and check it out. It's very silky and it lingers, and I really like how the aftertaste is sweet, and it really blossoms into this lovely floral and sagey kind of flavor. So it kind of lures you in, I will say. Like, it's a little bit minty, it's tingly, it is silky, very smooth. The fact that Kenny did not cough when he drank it tells you how smooth it is. Yeah, this is definitely a different experience. So for the mouthfeel, I am going to give it 4.5 stars because it definitely leaves you wanting more. Like, even if it's just for the lovely sweet aftertaste, you can get through the bitterness to get to the sweet aftertaste. So yeah, that's really interesting. So overall, this is an amazing absinthe. It's really different. If you are tired of the anise forward absinthes, then you can definitely take this one for a spin and see what you think. And again, higher wormwood content, so it is going to have more wormwood, therefore it is going to be a bit more on the bitter side, but it's not going to be overly bitter. Like it's kind of like a dry mintiness is more how I would describe it. So keep that in mind. I'm probably not going to try this with sugar because I really don't think, I think that kind of just defeats the purpose of having a wormwood forward absinthe. All right, so I'm going to give my final kind of like overview of this. So for the appearance, 5 stars, it's beautiful. I love it. Let me get my notes here. So for Louche, 4.5 stars. I have very seldom seen a Louche that dummy thick in a while, so that was really impressive. And then for Aroma, 4 stars. It was really, really nice, really interesting, very botanical and lovely. And then for the flavor, also 4 stars. There was a lot of bitterness, but it didn't dominate and overtake the entire flavor profile, which is really, really nice. And then for mouthfeel, 4.5, because it was very silky, it was lingering, it was very sexy and very alluring, so it kind of left you wanting a little bit more because, you know, it's absinthe. It's a very sexy thing. So to Jean-Philippe, thank you so much for sending me a sample of this. I really, really enjoyed it, and I wish you the best of luck in selling this. I really hope that my viewers in France and Germany will pick up a bottle of this if they are able to, and will give it a try for themselves. I think it would make a really interesting note in some absinthe cocktails if you're wanting more of that wormwood note to be more prominent. So something like a Corpse Reviver No. 2, or if you were making a Sazerac, or possibly even an obituary cocktail, which I might make a little TikTok on how to make that a little further on down the road. Possibly even today after my voice lesson. We'll see. We'll check it out. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Oh God, this is making me drool again. And again, thank you so much for your patience and your understanding about my upcoming move. Moving is stressful, and I really appreciate you guys being so lovely and supportive about that. I'm really excited for this new chapter with Kenny and I moving closer to Seattle. It's going to be a really good experience for us. And it'll be a lot easier for me to plan another show. Very excited about that. So thank you so much to everyone for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much to my patrons for your support every single month. I literally could not do this without you. And seriously, I am so appreciative of all of you guys. You're amazing. Everyone watching, thank you so much. I really cannot... I can't find the words to express how much I appreciate you guys, seriously. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more videos on absinthe and the goth subculture and gothic literature and other fun things that we like doing here. I hope everyone has an amazing day. I love you, and I will see you guys later. Bye!